Hey everybody, welcome to the DW Plays video. This time I'm taking a look at Dangerous Dave in the Haunted Mansion. You may wonder why I'm starting on this screen. Well, it's because the title screen and the credits screen cycle back and forth very quickly, so it would get a bit distracting. But I'll show you that in here in just a moment. Because there is something interesting about this game that is the main reason that anybody would actually be interested in giving this game a try. Which is that this was designed mainly by John Romero, but it was also programmed by John Carmack, along with John Romero, of course, and Adrian Carmack did the artwork for it, and Tom Hall helped out with game design. So this was id Software before they would break off from Soft Disk Publishing and actually form id Software. So it's really interesting from a historical perspective, but how is it as a game? Well, it is a DOS-era platform-type game. It is more advanced than the original one, which was Dangerous Dave in the Deserted Pirates Hideout, which I've already covered on the channel. It was also simply just called Dangerous Dave. And it was a very simple and straightforward platform-type game. This one is also simple and straightforward by modern standards, but by the standards of the era, it was definitely more advanced than the original. And by that, I mean that you actually can do things other than just jump around in this. You, of course, move left and right with the arrow keys, but if you try to press up to jump like you did in the previous game, you actually just aim upwards, and you can aim left and right as well. If you press down, you aim downwards. If you want to jump, you have to press Control. Considerably better option than pressing up to jump, especially if you're going to be aiming up and down. Now, if you press Alt, then you shoot. But we'll do that here in just a moment, because I wanted to talk about the ammo system. You can see up in the top left, you have an ammo meter. You have 8 shots. And in this particular game, you actually have infinite ammunition, but you do have to reload. So I'll just demonstrate how that looks. So I'm just going to fire off a few shotgun blasts here. This is a shotgun. Dave himself is apparently a quite good shot with a shotgun. And the premise of this is that his brother Delbert is locked in this haunted mansion with a bunch of zombies and other awful creatures, and so Dave has to go in and blast anything that gets in his path on his way to rescue his brother. Simple, straightforward, silly, not really meant to be taken all that seriously. But as far as the ammo system goes, I'm just going to fire off a few shots here, and you see it knocks you backwards as well, so it must be a pretty hefty shotgun, probably at least a 10 or 8 gauge. But you go and reload, and you will reload the number of shells that you expended, but you never actually truly run out of ammunition. Now, of course, if you blast all 8 rounds of the shotgun, then you can't shoot anymore, and it will just click. And if you keep moving around, you'll notice that you don't just reload while you're on the move. You have to specifically stop in order to reload. That's where any kind of tension is going to arise in this game. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the mansion here, and we'll start blasting zombies and going from there. So we have a couple of zombies. These just shamble towards you, and they try to melee you to death. You can only take 1 hit from anything, so you got to be careful with that. But other than only being able to take 1 hit, it's actually not an especially difficult game. It can be a bit tricky sometimes, but with the ability to aim up and down, and most enemies not being particularly fast or maneuverable, it's not that bad. Now, your mileage may vary, of course. As you can see, you can open doors to collect treasure. You can kind of lure zombies down. Now, these green-clad, I'm not entirely sure what they're supposed to be, guys, are not melee enemies. They actually throw knives at you. So you have projectiles to dodge as well. And you have to be a bit careful about the recoil of the shotgun there. It won't cause you to fall off platforms, thankfully, but oh, there's one of those knives we had to dodge. Got to be careful with those, because they can be a bit tricky to spot depending on the background. But as you can see, it's cartoony, it's silly, it's ridiculous. Enemies do explode into chunks, which is always fun. And obviously this first level is not going to be especially tricky or difficult. But saying that, I'm still not particularly good at platformers, so of course I take a knife to the face. Now if you die on a level, you have to restart the entire level, as was standard of the time, which is a bit annoying. And it's especially annoying that I did that on level 1 of all levels. And you would think that level 1 I wouldn't take a knife to the face, but nope, I took a knife to the face. It's always very annoying when that happens. Now, as for giving this game a try yourself, well, if you like this style of platformer, it is available in the Dangerous Dave pack, which is on GOG. I'll throw a link to that in the video description box. It includes this game along with the original, as well as Risky Rescue and Dave Goes Nuts, which are the two that were made by Soft Disc Publishing, without John Romero being the lead. And from what I understand, are considerably lower quality than what Romero himself and, of course, the id Software guys worked on. So we'll see what happens whenever I get around to those. I'll probably cover those in DW Plays videos as well. Because there's not a huge amount to talk about here. These are pretty simple and straightforward games. And it's one of those things where if you're into this kind of game, you'll probably enjoy it. I don't get much out of these. It's not that they're bad or anything. It's just not my kind of thing. I kind of burned myself out on platformers a long time ago. Now, oh, there is this door that I didn't open. So I might as well go ahead and open that and get some points. Because why not? Those glorious PC speaker noises. And going through this door, we'll get to the next level. So the next level is much more complicated because there's a lot of doors that you have to navigate through, and those will lead to different parts of the level. There's also this slime. We have to avoid the slime. Now, there is a different death animation for every enemy you encounter. You've seen the knife death animation. There's also one where if a slime gets you, then you get dissolved by the slime. Or melted, I should say. And then for the zombies, they just clobber you. And those death animations can be fairly amusing, so we'll see a few of those here probably. And we got a 1-up. Obviously, get enough points, you get a 1-up. Oh, we're out of shells. Better reload. So that's where the trickiness comes in. If you forget to reload, then, well, you can find yourself in a rough spot. Okay, and that's going to lead to a different part of the map. Just keep blasting away at the zombies and whatever those guys are. Collect points. And, yeah, simple, straightforward stuff. Now, this thing up here is a spider. It tries to get you from the ceiling. Only takes one shot to bring down. And so we just try to navigate the level and see what we can do. Thankfully, there is infinite ammunition because I tend to miss a lot for whatever reason. See, the shambling basic zombies aren't necessarily a problem because they just walk towards you. They have to hit you in melee. And this will be ridiculous. I'm just going to see what happens. Oh, no! But yeah, cartoony, silly, ridiculous. So this seems like something that appeals to you. You might want to give it a try. But, again, I think it's more interesting to look at it from a historical perspective, just to what the guys at id Software were making before they formed id Software. So games like this, Hover Tank 3D, Catacomb, all that sort of thing, they end up being interesting because they're kind of stepping stones on what would become Wolfenstein 3D and Doom and Quake and all that sort of thing. And that's just interesting. You know, we're just going to try to navigate through the level here. We don't need all the points. Why would we need all the points? More one-ups just means that I have to play the game longer. Not that that's a bad thing, of course. But, oh, there we got the melting by slime animation. Oh, knife to the face. I'm bad about the knives. Especially against a background like this, they're weirdly difficult to spot. So, your mileage may vary. Obviously, if you've played a lot of this game, you're going to be used to it. You're not really going to think about it too much. You're going to know exactly what to look for. Yeah, this is pretty much all there is to the game. Just run around, blast stuff. Avoid projectiles, avoid the monsters. And just navigate the levels. It's pretty simple and straightforward platformer stuff. If that's your kind of thing, you'll probably like it. But I just don't get all that much out of it. And you do have to be careful with those zombies, because if you're on those crates, considering that they can still hit you when you're on the crate. At least, if I remember correctly, they can. So, just be mindful of that. And here we have a platform we can jump through. Oh, crap. There we go. Just reload real quick. Now, this might get a bit tricky. Or not. There we go. Got another one up. Yeah, we'll get through this level, or at least we're going to try to get through this level. We'll see how it goes. Oh, crap. There's me not paying attention again, and you just keep having to start the level over again. It gets repetitive. That's partly why I don't like platformers of this era and as much, and I don't like platformers in general. It's just like the feeling of constantly having your progress reset is just really annoying. I don't like having to play through levels in their entirety over and over and over again just because I made a single mistake. I mean, obviously, if you like that kind of thing, the more power to you, but it's just never really appealed to me much. There we go. Dodged a knife by walking through a door. That angle was weird. Almost got clobbered there. Honestly, I don't mind as much getting hit by the knives because they can be tricky to spot. And if I get swarmed, obviously, then I don't mind that as much either. But Getting clobbered by a zombie is just downright embarrassing. Because they're so obvious, they're so easy to avoid. Now, I did get clobbered by one just to see what happens, and the animation is, it's not that interesting. Go ahead and reload before I continue here. Let's try going this way and see what we got over here. We got points, lots of points. We got a couple of zombies and other miscellaneous enemies. I gotta wait for the slime to jump before I can actually hit it. Slimes are tricky. You gotta be careful with those. And there's another one up. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get through this level. I don't think I'm gonna call it there. Because this gives you a good idea what the game's about. Just reload here. Avoid the giant spider. And we'll just head on to the next level here. And... oh, it's a sewer. Of course it's a sewer level. Insert civvy sewer count here. But yeah, there you go, folks. That's Dangerous Dave in the Haunted Mansion. It's a rather simple and straightforward type of game. If you like DOS platformers, you'll probably like Dangerous Dave. You may or may not like the original, but this one you'll probably get a kick out of. It's nothing amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's interesting to look at from a historical perspective. And for a game of this era, it's decent, it's solid. You, again, probably have a decent time with it if this is your kind of thing. Again, I'll have a link in the video description box where you can pick up a copy of this if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in later videos.